The first speaker is Dr. Kaining, head of R&D department at German Research Center Julich. Actually, that's my alma mater, where I learned a lot about PV and finished my master thesis. Kaining is a material scientist focusing on heterojunction. And as I said before, he's also one of the masterminds of a very well-known silicon heterojunction workshop that takes place annually. Kaining, the virtual conference floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Shravan, for the introduction. Please allow me to share my screen. Okay, yeah. Hi, everyone. So my name is Kaining, and I'm from the Research Center Julich here in Germany. I want to thank the organizers for the opportunity to speak here, and also for the contribution of Taiyang News to the PV community. So I will be talking about what is new in heterojunction 2020-2021. So it's we're explicitly focus on this period of time. So I hope in the next 15 minutes, I will be able to give you a good overview of what happened in the last year. So let us start with heterojunction cell records. Here I will focus on large area results on two-side contacted cells and also certified ones only. There is an observation that this heterojunction technology is shifting clearly from research to industry R&D. This you will see also in this graph here. In 2019, the record for such a kind of a cell is still held by Energy. There was nothing happening in 2020. And just when I started to wonder, the year 2021 was quite amazing in terms of heterojunction cell records, starting with GS Solar reporting a new record in February, and followed by Tongwei Solar with a very similar number in May 2021. And already in June, there was a new record from Longi, and a very same number 1 month later by Hwasong and Maxwell. Please note that Maxwell is an equipment manufacturer, so which basically means that this technology can be purchased. And a little bit later, collaboration between SunDrive and Maxwell, so which is SunDrive is a startup company in Australia, focusing on plating technologies. So this is a new record in September. And so already in October, Longi came up with 2 new records, ending with 26.3%. So this is until today the highest efficiency on this type of cells. And I have no doubt that this number will be updated very soon. If we have a closer look, and comparing, for example, these 2 cell records from Longi, one for heterojunction and one for TOPCon, you will see that the current density for heterojunction is the last challenge we still have. While having very high VUC and fear factor, only the current is a little bit lower compared to the TOPCon approach. And this is because if you see the graph on the left, which use external quantum efficiency of these 2 solar cells, you see that the current loss comes from a parasitic loss in the amorphous silicon and in the TCO on the front side of a heterojunction. One approach to overcome this shortage is there are a lot of works trying to introduce transparent passivating contacts. So this is work from Julich, published in April in Nature Energy, working on a transparent version of a contact on the front side, with promising results, boosting the current density. But there are also at the same time a lot of strategies like bring all the contacts to the back, forming a IBC heterojunction, or as successfully demonstrated until now already using nanocrystalline silicon and nanocrystalline silicon oxide, has more transparent contacting films, but also new approaches like transition metal oxide or dopant-free. But also there are strategies to get rid of the TCO or just simply reducing the usage of the TCO so that the TCO loss reduces. And another very interesting approach to overcome the shortage of the current is to make a tandem with a perovskite. So this is actually the newest result by HJT in November with almost 30% cell efficiency. The advantage here is that the ITO, as you can see here in green, on the picture left, it only needs to be very thin because it does not need to transport laterally. And also the light in the short wavelength range does not reach the bottom cell. So also this doesn't matter too much. So there are a lot of reasons why to combine the perovskite tandem with a heterojunction, which is exactly the case here. So now let us have a look at the production capacity status quo. Here is a very nice summary from PV InfoLink about the current capacities and also a little bit of plannings. And what I want to emphasize is that the production average efficiency is all above 24%. I think in a moment, eventually even higher. We will hear about this hopefully in the next talks coming up. And just to give you an overview about the planned production capacities. So there are announcements of over 60 gigawatts from China. We don't know how much of this will be realized, but I think at least you can see that there's a lot of interest in heterojunction changing from last year to this year. And also all around the globe in Russia, Germany, Korea, and USA, some smaller and bigger plans about heterojunction productions. So heterojunction is definitely picking up momentum and dynamically evolves. And one of the reasons is of maturity of the equipment suppliers, especially if you have a look at, for example, the China SC and Maxwell. So they are basically vertically integrating all the equipment necessary for heterojunction production. And I think this, with this volume of the request, the cost for equipment will also come down very quickly. And here is a list of approaches, a roadmap, how to increase efficiency further and how to come down with costs. I will not go into the details because I believe some of the talks later will be talking about these aspects. The only thing I want to emphasize here is that there is a very clear roadmap in the industry R&D, how to approach things and how to drive the cost down and how to increase the efficiency. I think this momentum and what is happening with this common understanding is a very important one, because this will more merge the forces and the focus of the efforts, and this will create also a momentum so that much more material and equipment suppliers will join this this field, and this is a very important thing for heterojunction to happen. Just to make things complete, also have a look at the heterojunction module power output. So this is a report from Taiyang News. At that time, when this report was released by end of 2020, so the highest power output is 465 for Genergy based on M6 cell format. And in March 2021, so there is a announcement of a module, heterojunction module based on the G12 format, with power output above 600 watt. So I think it is still in the moment the highest power output for heterojunction modules. Now, please allow me to come to the first heterojunction workshop. So, as Shravan introduced, where I promised to give a summary. This year, this event was organized by CSEM, and it took place in November, so just 1 month ago, with a good list of speakers. In summary, so this heterojunction workshop is first launched in 2018 by Julich and Simit, and the second one was in 2019 in Chengdu, and the third one is unfortunately already virtual. And the impact of this workshop keeps growing with the increasing popularity of silicon heterojunction. We're very happy about that. And in the moment, the committee consists of CSEM, Julich, Panasonic, Simit, Tongwei, CA, and Arizona State University. There were two topics dominating the first heterojunction workshop. So one is sustainability, and one is reliability. I think this is a very important topics right now in heterojunction. There was a qualitative study on terawatt sustainable manufacturing capacity by UNSW. So basically, it pictures out if you are going towards terawatt, the indium in the ITO will limit your capacity first to around 40 gigawatt, and silver comes next, and then bismuth in the low temperature interconnects. So also you will see, therefore, in this conference, in this workshop, there were approaches discussed and presented. How to solve the indium issue by partially or completely substitute the ITO by AZO or by anti-reflective coating, for example, like a silicon nitride or silicon oxide. And about the silver, there are different approaches underway. Some of them is trying to use silver paste with a silver coated copper paste. And there are approaches working on the process, how to reduce the silver paste consumption, for example, by dispensing. And also a very popular approach to work on patterning for copper plating to reduce the production cost. And some few words about the bismuth in the interconnects. I think, for example, one could go for silver-free electric conductive adhesives. But also there was a presentation by Arizona State University about the startup company Sunflex Solar's Sunfoil module technology, so which is using aluminum foil to guide the electricity. And in terms of reliability, I think there were some very good news. Heterojunction module with backsheet passes 3 times IEC reliability tests, and also the extended stress test also passed. And interestingly, bifacial heterojunction modules were tested in the desert for more than 1 year and shows up to 42% more in yearly average yield by bifacial and tracking gain as compared to reference PERC module. And the heterojunction modules show degradation below 2% after 4.5 years of outdoor operations in Russia. This is in contrast to earlier publications on heterojunction module outdoor reliability that suggest difference. So this means that the reliability of heterojunction is not a fundamental issue, but can be controlled with proper module fabrication and proper cell. And last but not least, please allow me also to tell a little bit about some new things that I think is important. So the heterojunction is picking up also some interest in the integrated PV world because of some specific advantages like low thermal coefficient and high flexibility in terms of compatibility with thin cells, but also due to the metallization that leads to less fragileness of the wafer. But also, for example, its hyperficiality is very interesting for companies that wants to and make use of sunlight equally from both sides of the module. And the company H2Gemini reported on attempts in module equipment manufacturing to solve the transport-induced damages during heterojunction production by introducing inline automatized production technology. I thought that was also a quite interesting approach. And last but not least, there was a talk from the Hebei University on using carbon nanotubes for heterojunction to substitute both the passivation layer and the transport layer. And the efficiency is over 22%. I think it's a very promising start of a new technology that can be quite disruptive for certain approaches. And also new results on dopant-free above 23.5%. I think also quite promising results. Yeah, and with that, I would like to thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Kaining, for finishing your presentation actually beforehand. So I think I would like to move on to the next presenter, but please stay online, and if there are any questions regarding heterojunction or about your presentation, it would be very helpful if you can answer them in the chat window, because there could be a lot of questions coming up sooner or later. So thank you very much for your presentation. I really liked your presentation.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Okay, so